Alrighty, folks. So just a couple things about scanning that'll make things easier for you, and maybe not so depressed that you're only getting 1 and 2, from whatever you're trying to scan. Go ahead and scan items that are just, in your inventory like this. Bones and arrows and stuff like that. And if you have a lot of machines, you can get a lot of points from doing stuff like this. Not every mod though, like this one has 41 of the ingots, but do keep in mind that there is a cap on how much you can get of each aspect. Now, I believe that is still the case. Let me check. Oh, actually, it goes a lot higher than it used to. I'm not sure what the cap, or if there is a cap these days. It used to be that you would just waste your resources, so that would be really unfortunate. But some of these things, like I wish I had caught it on camera, but like if you scan one of these, it's absolutely ridiculous. Oh, actually I can just show you. Yeah, 64 of a lot of different things. So just keep in mind that some of this stuff is worth a whole heck of a lot. So make sure and scan everything. And I mean everything. There's an infuser. Yeah, see, look at all the different things that we're getting from these. And a lot of them as well. Like this one, it's not going to actually scroll on the bottom right hand side for quite some time. But not all mods are integrated, so do keep that in mind. But there are a lot of things that are. So I'm going to keep scanning here for a little bit longer, and then we will go from there. Alright, see you in a second. Alrighty, so I know I'm going through this pretty fast, but there are other things that you need to keep in mind when you are doing research like this. So if I go ahead and I'll toss this out of my inventory for a second, it'll let you know that, hey, you don't have scribing tools or paper. So if we go and pick those up, then that's no longer going to be a problem. But if you're working on research and going through these, then you need to keep in mind that you have to have enough on you to be able to deal with that. Now, these will run out over time. They'll run out of ink. I thought there was once a measure on here, but apparently not. But let's go ahead and do things not in this Artifice tab, but in the Basic Information tab, because this is going to help us out quite a bit. Okay, so we need to go ahead and do this Research Expertise, and I'll show you. Oh, okay, so Research Note, add to your inventory. Alright, so if we click on that, and then we put it in here, it'll give you this little game here. Now, this is TolkienCraft 4. I think it's TolkienCraft 4.2. Cross my fingers, I think that's right. But this will actually stay in TolkienCraft 5 as well. So get used to the game. It's going to be around for a long time. But I think it's actually kind of fun after you end up knowing what everything is. But first, I want to do something else. Do we actually have to get this one first before we can move on? I think we might. Yeah, this is the trade. I think this one allows you to know what is in each item. Alright, so I'll be right back. Okay, so for this one in particular, I think we're going to use ghosts, which is what I was doing there. Do I need to drag it? Yeah. Okay, and do like that. And then we're going to put life in here like this. And then from there... Actually, I was kind of planning on having this hook up directly. I guess we could use another life, but it just seems kind of wasteful. Oh. Whoops. That's not right. Okay, let's go ahead and erase that one. I'll put, what makes up life? Can we do, Honestly, without everything in here, it's kind of hard to do because I'm having a hard time remembering. I'll be right back. Okay, I think I've got it. So we'll use vitreous. Where is vitreous? Little crystal thing. There we go. Something we have a bunch of. We'll put it right here. And then we'll use earth. Is that right? Terra? Where are you? There you are. Okay, that'll do it. Alright, so what you're doing is you're breaking these down into their primal aspects, and that's what's such a headache. But like I said, get used to it if you want to use TholkienCraft, because you need to do this quite a bit. But basically, the little ghost is part of what you need to make the brain. The life one, the little heart, is part of what you need to make the ghost. Terra is part of what you need to make the heart. Vitreous is also made of Terra and Ordo. So you see what we're doing here. You need to connect it to something that's either one step above what the aspect is or one step below. So from the heart to Terra would be one step below, and from the heart to the ghosty is what you need for one step above. So basically you're trying to link them and combine the different aspects into making a chain that connects everything in here. Now this can be quite complicated later on because, well, you have a lot more than just 3 aspects that you need to connect. So we're going to right click on that one. Alright, and go from there. So research expertise allows you to, whenever you move an aspect from a hex, there is a 25%, basically if you mess up, there's a 25% chance that you will regain the research point. Also, you're able to see, okay, good, this is what I was looking for. You're able to see what aspects you need to combine to create an aspect that you're hovering over. Alright, so if we are looking here, there we go. We can see that Metallum is made of Terra and Vitreous. So, and then we can see Ordo and Terra there. So this makes it so much easier to be able to research. Now, this right here is forbidden knowledge. It's mostly harmless, so you're not going to get a whole lot of corruption from it. But if you see this little cloud thing, well, if you research enough forbidden knowledge, then eventually you're going to have things start happening to you that might not be normal. This is actually, yeah, see, and this one has 4, so it goes up and up and up from here. And as you can see, there's actually missing runes in here. So you run into some interesting patterns where you have to weave in and out to get different things. So I'm going to go ahead and do this off camera, do the research that I need to get to what I want. What I want, by the way, is in thaumaturgy, and I need to be able to unlock some of these thumb caps. Now you'll recognize that, wait a minute, these are circles, this is this weird pokey thing, and these are squares. Alright, so for example, if I do the one foci, which is exactly what I need, it'll be a little bit different than if I had done one of these. Actually, I think it should have just given that to me, shouldn't it have? Should it not have? I guess I should have said. Let's go and take a look. Okay, so this one's a lot more simple. What is the pattern that you just click on? So there is a certain shape that if you just click on whatever it is, it'll just give you the research. But you need a certain amount of points in the right areas. Oh, it's this one right here. Okay, so that's what I was looking for, so I could show you guys. See this little, yeah, it's a hexagon. Um, it has 3 of the toilet paper and 3 of the magic. So Mercantio, and I don't remember what the toilet paper one is. And yeah, no, I don't think it's supposed to be toilet paper, but it looks like toilet paper to me. So I always think toilet paper. All right, so enchanted fabric. So we can just click on that if we have the required aspects, and we automatically learn what's in here. And this can be done to make your basic set of armor. Now the basic set of armor actually gives you a nice discount. V discount of 2%, 1%, 2%. Now you're wondering what that is. It takes a certain amount of V from your wand, which is the storage for this little guy. You see in the top left hand corner it has the I don't even know what to call that, but it'll actually fill up as you drain a node of its power. So we'll get to that at some point. It'll probably, well, actually, I'm going to need to do that in a minute to be able to make what I want to make. So I will be right back and we will move forward. Okay, so if you're curious what happens, actually, I'm curious what happens if I do this. Okay, so this is something like what you'll end up with. It's a little bit wasteful, but it's fine. Yeah, there's some things I could have done that would have been better, but you get the picture. So we have all of these linked. Now, what I find is usually the best way to do it is to break it down as much as you can right off. That way you can find common aspects between them. So if I had recognized that Potentia is, and I didn't, I was thinking, I'm going to link these two, and then I'm going to link those two, and then I'm going to find something in the middle that I can link them with. But if I had realized earlier on that these 3 were linked by Potentia, which is this little, I guess, hand gripping a lightning bolt, then I could have made this much, much simpler. And saved a few aspects in there, but I didn't, so this is kind of what I ended up with. Now when you're doing this, you can do a big circle, but I think usually wrapping it up in the middle is a little bit more efficient, just kind of branching them all inward. You can't always do that, but if you can, then usually that's the most efficient way to do it. Alright, so this one, if you remember, is Forbidden Knowledge. So let's go ahead and learn this and see what happens. Alright, so it says that I have gained permanent warp. Now, I can't get rid of that, obviously, since it says it's permanent. So, the more warp that you build up, the more effects that you'll start to have. Now, as far as I know, there's not a way to gauge how much warp that you already have, but there's a lot of stuff in here that I haven't actually touched on. I did touch a bit on TolkienCraft in my last series, but that's TolkienCraft, by the way, but I haven't really done much of it since then. So I'm going to keep researching and getting a few more things in here, and then I will be right back. Okay folks, so there's a couple things I want to point out. One is, this is something that's a little bit neater version of, you know, what something's supposed to look like if you connect it properly. Now there's blank spaces right here that you have to work around, so unfortunately I couldn't do it perfectly, but the other thing is that you can see right here, it's actually using up quite a bit of ink, but thankfully you can refill these, so it's not a big deal. It also takes a little bit of ink to make the scrolls that you need to put in here to do the research. So, I've gotten a couple things. This is one that I actually want to bring back, or actually something that I do want to research before I head out. What is this? Research duplication. Okay, so this is the one that you can actually share the research progress that you've made with somebody else that's on your server, which is actually really, really nice. Especially if you have somebody that's, you know, super far ahead, has done all kinds of research and stuff in TholkienCraft, and there's somebody else that, wants to start getting into TholkienCraft, but it takes a lot of time to get through all this stuff. So yeah, as you can see, some of them are quite large. Some of them aren't, but at the same time, something like Golemancy, all the research doesn't pop up automatically. You need to research things one at a time and discover things in the environment and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of different things that you can do. Alright, so as far as what I've done research on so far, we already did the basic wand craft. I've gotten the golden wand caps, which are better than iron by quite a bit. So iron actually has a penalty when you are trying to make things in a crafting table. But as you can see down here, we need a few things in our wand to be able to even craft these. And as well, I have gotten the Great Wood Wand Core research, which also takes Perdido. Thankfully, I don't think any of these overlap. Yeah, this one doesn't need Perdido. The wand that I have at the moment has a max capacity of 25, which is really, really bad. Really bad. So I can't really do a whole lot with it. But what I can do is make a better wand. So also I have gotten the equal trade, which will allow me, if I have items in my inventory, say I want to replace this glass with stone, I can shift right click a stone in the environment, and then just right click and it'll actually make this wall all stone. So you can imagine when you're trying to smooth out an area as far as the materials go. Look at that room over there that has dirt in the walls, and it has, all different types of stone, limestone, things like that. It can make things a lot easier to just make things look nice. So that is why I am doing all of this, is to get that. So I'm going to go ahead and move this, or go ahead and research this, that way I can move nodes. And I will show you what nodes are all about. Apparently they're about missing ground textures. That happens every time I leave the area. Every time I leave the area, it won't load in without me actually going down there, which is a little bit frustrating, because it actually is loaded in, because I have a chunk loader down there, right? So, it's there. The machines and stuff are loaded, but for some reason, all that won't load in. Anyway, so I am going to do this research real quick, and then we will go find a node. Alright, see you in a second. Alrighty folks, so there's a couple ways that you can actually fill up your wand. And one of them is by killing mobs. Now that's how I have stuff in there at the moment. We can go ahead and kill this little guy. And it didn't stick around long enough for me to show you. Let me try to find another one. And hopefully... Alright, you see those little glowing orbs right there? How they're moving towards me? Those are actually aspects that'll move in, and you can collect in your wand. So killing things is actually an option. It's a very slow option, but it is an option. As you can see, I have a little bit of each of them. The primary way that you'll go about it is by finding these right here. As you can see, you can barely see it. Oh, wow, it's bright. So you can actually scan these, and you should. This one has 30 Ordo, was at 24 Air, and 17 Terra. So I have done some research that is actually really important for these guys. Let's go ahead and take a look at the basic information. So we've got advanced node tapping. So usually the process of drawing V from a node with a wand is quite slow, but this speeds it up. So it doubles the rate of V draw. And this one right here, the master node tapping, does 3 times. And believe me, this is extremely helpful. But there's something that's very, very important that you need, is a node preserver. And this one is probably the most important. So you now have better control over the amount of V that you draw from nodes. You will always leave at least one V of each aspect in the node, unless you are sneaking. Be warned, this level of control is not possible in using wands crafted of normal wood and iron, aka the one that I'm using. But when you go out and you start collecting these, this one is actually not the best node to keep. There are ones that are much better out there. But yeah, so you need to realize that you should watch this very carefully. Like, oops, okay, so Terra's getting really low. So what happens when you drain it completely? Oh, Terra disappeared. Okay, so this one actually no longer has Terra in it as per Wayla. Actually, I got pretty lucky. It looks like Terra will actually regenerate, but the reason that the watching it is so important is that if you drain all of it from the node, it has a chance to never come back. So I could potentially make this node pretty much just disappear because I drained it completely. But I got pretty lucky and ended up not draining it completely. So I need to go fill up my wand of the different aspects. And unfortunately, right now, I can only do it through looking through this. But there's something coming up in the Thaumanomicon that will allow us to just roam around and actually see it in the environment without looking through this thing. And believe me, when you're constantly having to look through this, it's actually very much a pain in the butt. It is anyway, but when you can only see it through part of your screen and you have this big yellow border around what you can see, it's a bit frustrating, to be honest. But it doesn't last for long. The goggles of revealing, which we will make pretty soon, are very low on the tier of items to make, so they're quite easy. Alright, so I will see you in a second, and we will make some of the stuff that we want. Alright folks, so here's another quick tip to finding aura nodes. Now, if you have been able to make it to the Deep Dark, and this guy is really mad at me. I don't remember actually looking at him, so I'm not sure why, but he's kind of upset. Thankfully, he doesn't have that much health. There we go. Some of them have in the hundreds of health down here, but you can actually find nodes more easily here than you can anywhere else. There's a node, there's a node, there's a node, there's a node. It's actually kind of hard to find these things in the environment, but because this area is pitch black, it is very easy to find them down here. Now, equally, they are fairly easy to find when you're looking through this lens right here. As you can see, I can see it from here. But if you just look in the dark, it is very simple to find. So, whenever you're looking for nodes, keep the Deep Dark in mind. This is the best place by far to find nodes, just because it is so easy to do so. But it is very dangerous, so keep that in mind too. I'm not sure what kind of hat that is. But yeah, so let's see what this node has. Let's see. 26, 25. Okay, so this one's not going to be too helpful for us because we're already maxed out on air and ordo. But there are plenty more to be found down here. Just remember to use your torches because, of course, the darkness can hurt you, as we will see. This one looks like it has air and Ignis. Yep, there we go. Or is that an actual arrow? Oh, I think it's an arrow. Yeah, I can't see him though. What the heck? Where are you? There you are. Oh, there's two of them. Hello. Hey, zombie. Alright, so this one is going to have... Where'd he go? Oh, that's on top of it. No wonder. Oi! Oh, a crate. Jockey. Hi, Spider Jockey. Oh, goodness. Yeah, you'll have to fight a lot more down here, and I shouldn't have stayed still. Okay, so we'll take a look at this one, and this one is 24 air and 28 Ignis. So we do need the Ignis. You can see it's draining, it's draining. Okay, good. I'm not sure exactly how big the nodes get down here. It's easier to find specific nodes if you're in the overworld. Boy, this is annoying. Skeletons, you are very annoying. As usual. Oh, I need to draw back a little bit further. And let's just see. Okay. Oh, is there actually two of them here? Oh, no, it just looked like it. Okay, so this one is actually interesting. So you can actually get more complex... Oh, I need to eat. More complex aspects in these guys. And they'll break down exactly as you would think they would. I need Perdito, and that's the only one I need left in my wand. So I'll keep looking, and I'll be back with you guys when I make it back home. Alrighty folks, so it looks like I've actually run out of time and run past time quite a bit, so we're going to go ahead and end the episode here and do the crafting in the next episode, but I wanted to leave you with this. Not the zombies. Go away, zombies. Lots of zombies. Okay, so actually I haven't scanned a brain. Apparently I haven't scanned rotten flesh either. Get out of here. Zombie brains are actually really important to Golemancy, just in case you're curious. But yeah, this one has 84 error. So this is the kind of node that you would want to go ahead and transfer home. I can't do that at the moment because it costs 70 of each aspect to be able to do so, but you're looking for nodes that are at least that big. I'm going to get out of here. At least that big before you try to transport them, because the size of the node will end up shrinking whenever you do that. So no, yes, I hear the heartbeats. No. But yeah, anyway, so if you do decide to transport the nodes, which you should, because it's a pain in the butt to run out and start tracking these guys down, use waypoints. Use them, because you will need to come back to those nodes at times. So just go out in nature, try to find some nodes that are at least that big. Usually about 100, 120 is good. And you can transport those back home. We'll get into node management and stuff like that at some other date, but I'm just trying to cover the basics for you guys so I don't, start doing things that you just don't understand what I'm doing. And that's, of course, considering that I don't know, how much experience each of you individually has with these mods. So I'm approaching it at that angle. I think that's the best way to do things, because while I would say most people that watch these videos tend to have experience already, even if there's just, maybe one person or two people that have no idea what I'm talking about, I think it's good to, help those people out in understanding what I am talking about, because otherwise it'd be kind of a crappy viewing experience. But yeah, so that's going to be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time, hope you have a wonderful day.